My most humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beautiful Lord, Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Sai Ram to all. This was in the year 1985, which was the 60th birthday of our beloved Swami. Throughout this year, Swami did many ceremonies and functions and a lot of blessings to the devotees, giving them clothes and Annadanam, and many ceremonies were conducted during this year. Swami also conducted the spiritual marriage of couples above the age of 60. He also did marriages for poor boys and girls who could not afford to get married because of their poverty. They were given bridal clothes, a gold Mangal Sutra, and pots and pans for them to start their family life. At this time, Swami also announced that he would be doing Upanayanam, or the sacred thread ceremony, for the boys in his primary school. That year, Swami did not go anywhere because the Hillview Stadium construction was going on and Swami was visiting it every day. So when this was announced, there were many boys who were here during that summer time. And when I heard about it, I also wanted my son Kanak to get this blessing from Swami, to have his Upanayanam done. This Upanayanam is a sacred thread ceremony usually done by Brahmin families for their young sons between the age of 5 and 10. And this is their initiation into the Gayatri or the Sandhya Vandanam, where after the ceremony is done, they are supposed to do the Gayatri mantra at dawn, in the noon, and in the evening before sunset. And this is when your journey towards enlightenment starts. You are supposed to do this for the rest of your life, not to give it up at any time at all. So anyway, when I heard about this, I wrote letter to Swami asking Swami to take my son also, since we are not Brahmins but we are Kshatriyas. And I pestered and did my drama with Swami as usual. Finally, on the day before the sacred ceremony, which was to be conducted on a Sunday, one of Kanak's madams came up to me and she said, Didi, Swami has approved for Kanak to participate in this. He also has given permission for a few other boys who are not Brahmins also to participate. I was over the moon. Then that evening, all the students were given their ceremonial clothes to be worn the next day when they come to the mandir. So I asked one of the teachers how we had to get him ready, and she said, give him an oil bath and tie this dhoti around him and bring him to the mandir. The rest of it will be taken care of in the mandir. So the next day morning, I gave Kanak his bath, and I did not know how this dhoti was to be tied properly. Somehow I did it, and we brought him to the mandir. And he went up. All the students were in those days allowed to go and sit in the veranda. And he went up and sat on the veranda with his ceremonial clothes. We parents were all asked to assemble in the auditorium, and we were made to sit in lines, husband and wife, with a place for the little fellow to be sitting in our midst. So when Swami came out for darshan, he went around as usual, gave darshan. And when he walked up to the veranda, he saw Kanak sitting there in this brahmachari clothes, and Swami just burst out laughing. Nobody else was there seated next to him except the VIPs on the veranda. So Swami went into the interview room, placed the letters there, and then he came out and he beckoned to Kanak to come up to him. So Swami took him inside into the bhajan hall, where all the rest of the boys were gathered in their normal white clothes with the Upanayanam clothes and the stick in their laps. So Swami took Kanak by hand, and then he retied the dhoti and told the teachers, this is the way it has to be done. would tie the dhoti and the shawl for all the boys in this way and bring them to the auditorium in a procession. Swami was so gracious to do this for my little fellow. He had the unique chance of Bhagwan tying his clothes for him before the ceremony. This is Kanak in his Upanayanam clothes that Bhagwan had tied for him. Then all these brahmacharis or vatus as they are called came in a procession with the Vedam boys chanting the Vedas in front of them, and they came into the auditorium. Swami also came and stood on the auditorium stage, and Swami spoke a few minutes about the significance of the Gayatri and the significance of the sacred thread ceremony. Then Swami walked down from the stage, and there was one of the students carrying a tray with the Upanayanam threads on it. So Swami walked amongst the parents. The boys were already seated in between their father and mother. So Swami came along and gave this Upanayanam thread to each of the boys. We had a tray with the puja paraphernalia placed inside it. When he came up to us, and we also got the Upanayanam thread. Then after everybody was given this, Swami again started from the beginning, and he went up to each boy seated seated in the middle of his father and mother, and the father held one end of the sacred thread and Swami held the other end, and then Swami gently placed it around the boy's shoulder across his chest. So this continued down the line, and as soon as Swami came in front of us, we did not know anything about this. My husband Babu immediately placed his head at Swami's feet and took Padamaskar, and I also tried to touch Swami's feet. So we were both trying to do Padamaskar, and Swami was looking down and smiling, and then Swami himself took the sacred thread and removed Kanak's shawl and placed it around his little shoulders. This is that beautiful photo from that day. And then Swami went up to the stage and called all the boys, and 3 times Swami repeated the Gayatri mantra and made the boys repeat it after him. He made sure that the boys knew this mantra by heart and made them repeat it several times. And then Swami came down and he gave Padamaskar and sprinkled Akshadam on all the parents and the little vatus that were gathered there. Then Swami called back the boys onto the stage. He stood in the middle and he took several photographs with the new brahmacharis and told them that they were supposed to do this religiously, not to forget, not to be lazy, and never to remove the sacred thread. For a few years after this, Swami continued to give them new sacred threads every year. Kanak got it for 4 or 5 years after that, and he has still kept the first one that he received from Swami. This Gayatri is the most powerful mantra. It is the pure cosmic energy of the sun god, and what it does is it inspires good thoughts in your intellect, and the good thoughts translate into good actions. I hope everybody who knows the Gayatri or will learn the Gayatri and continue to do this, so that we are all blessed and our buddhi or intellect is enlightened and we can reach the lotus feet of our beautiful Lord. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Swami bless you all. Sai Ram.